Hello! Surprise! I'm pressing record. Hey, it's good to see you guys again. It's been a little bit of time, and we just are excited to share with you some of the things God's doing, and look forward to hearing back from you about what God is doing in your life. And want you to share this Christmas season is such a beautiful time of reflection and worship, and we hope that it'll be an opportunity for you to reflect on the little blessings in your life. So to start off with, we wanted to start with a little prayer thing that we did as a family. We invited you guys along. I know some of you were participating. Many of you were just watching from afar. But this is a 40-day prayer challenge with an author named Mark Batterson, who wrote a book called Draw the Circle. And so we wanted our boys to kind of talk to you guys about what they learned. And then Amy and I are going to share what we learned. And then later we would love to hear what you learned or what you are learning from God during this time. Okay.
Yeah.
Miller boys, come on in. It's been a while since you've seen them. You may notice that they're a little taller than they were last time. You'll notice that Amy is looking directly across at the two shorter ones, and then one of them is taller than Amy now.
Yes.
It's disturbing. Honestly, it's a little disturbing. All right, so the boys are going to share with you what they've been learning also. And so who would like to start? Does anybody do we have a volunteer? Who would like to start? All right, Noah, fire away. Share with everybody.
After the prayer challenge was over, I don't remember how many days it was after, just a few days after, the Lord told me something. He said, so I want to be a professional baseball player. That's what I want to be my career.
Shirt says picture perfect.
But he said I will never be one until I learn to be more humble. So.
And we immediately started to notice a change in behavior.
In character, really.
Yeah. Noah went from being a total jerk that none of us liked to tolerable. Yeah. Maybe not tolerable.
No, we've really seen some character shifts in Noah, and he actually also his first step of humility really was asking other people to help keep him accountable to that, and really, and that was huge. And so we've been supporting him in that and working through that as well.
Yeah.
So who wants to go next?
I'll go next. So
This is Micah.
They twinned on us today, if you couldn't tell.
I got the same shirt.
Okay, go ahead, Micah.
So it really made me think differently about God, like made me think more about him as being way more powerful and just bigger, better. My favorite point that was talked about in the book was, he said, the author said how that God will actually love it if you ask him to do impossible things because he knows he can do it. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah.
Nice. All right, Asher.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Asher.
It helped me understand how God is not just awesome and invincible, but logical and has a sense of humor as well.
Good. All things that we admire very much in our God.
Yes.
Nice.
So, thank you, boys, for sharing what you walked away with from that 40-day prayer challenge.
All right, you're dismissed.
Yes. So, and some of us, we all journal during this time. We have a family journal that we write different answered prayers in and prayer requests and things like that. And so two of us, Noah and I, actually used the family journal to journal in this time, and everybody else kind of used their own journals. But what a powerful time. I encourage you, if you have not done the Draw the Circle 40-day prayer challenge, to take the time to check that out. If you haven't seen that, check out our last newsletter, our last video, or last email about this, because we share all the details and how you can get the tools to do that. But one of the things that the Lord really impressed upon me is is just this idea of prayer, to be faithful in hope, and to be persistent in prayer. And just because something isn't being answered in the way that we think, or something isn't turning out the way as expected, to continue to persist in prayer, because it's the conversation that and the relationship that God desires from us, not just the answering of the prayers.
Right.
If that makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's kind of one of the things I took away from it the second time that we've done this prayer challenge. What about you?
My big takeaway was just it was a refresher in prayer for me. I realized that I had kind of I will have kind of my daily conversations with God where I talk to him about little things, but I had really strayed away from spending directed time in prayer and listening to God. And so it pushed me back into that. And so now reflexively I go to prayer, just as Amy and I will be talking about a certain situation, or we're dealing with something with our boys, then now reflexively I go, okay, let's pray about it. And so it's become more, that muscle has been exercised, and so now I use it more often than I did before. And so it's really kind of drawn us, and I think it's opened up opportunities for God to work in our family in ways that we hadn't really let him do before. So it was really transformative for our family. Both of the times that we've done it, we've seen God do some amazing things and really speak in great ways. And so again, we just encourage you, if you've not read the book, or if you've not gone through the 40-day prayer challenge, then we would just encourage you to do that. Just look up Mark Batterson. He's all over the place. You won't have any difficulty finding him.
Yeah, so speaking of prayer,
yeah. So
another thing we want to share with you.
Yeah, so we as a family, we have always kind of tried to figure out what it looks like to spend time praying together. And so a while back, I don't remember how it is that we decided to start doing it, but we started doing what we call our ACTS prayer. And so we'll just write it down. And A.C.T.S is an acronym that we use to help us stay logically and kind of keep progressing through the prayer together as a family. And so it starts with adoration, which is spending time worshiping God. Confession, so confessing your sin or your shortcomings or things that you've done that you shouldn't have done. Thanksgiving, just thanking God for who he is, for what he has done, gifts and blessings in your life. And then supplication, which is a fancy word for asking, right? And so we are supplicating God for different things that we want as a family,
or for others,
or for other people, or just things that individually we may want, or what we may want for each other. So adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. And we've been working through those as a family. It helps us because one person will just start and we'll begin with adoration. A lot of times we read through some scripture. We may read a psalm. The boys, we have a book that the boys have picked up and really started to enjoy, that they have just been reading quotes from. And so it's really kind of a neat little progression, but it helps us stay on task and to move through it well. And it keeps it from just being rote and boring, because it gives you just enough structure to kind of help formulate it for you. So if you're looking for a way to structure your prayer life and to find ways to help in your prayer, to help make your prayers a little bit more lively and a little bit easier to work through, then that's a great little acronym that you can use to help you do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and speaking of prayer, we just want to thank you guys for joining us in prayer, because we asked you guys the last time. We told you that since we are now a little bit more stationary, we really were seeing the need to I was seeing the need to have a vehicle, especially when Jim was leaving a lot and we were at different campgrounds or places. Sometimes the Lord so generously provided us friends who had a vehicle that if we needed one or something, we had access to one. But there were many times where we were in places where it didn't feel very comfortable if there was an emergency of some kind that I did not have a vehicle to do anything. So so God has so generously provided us a new to us car, so a second vehicle, and it has air conditioning, and it has a working radio, and totally meets our needs, and has been beyond our expectations. And God provided this actually right just not long after we finished the 40-day prayer challenge. And I want to share with you a little bit of the miraculous story surrounding the car situation, because I've personally been without my own vehicle for about 5 years, and I've kind of grown accustomed to not having one. I mean, even though we have a family vehicle, it's not. I don't drive the truck. It is not a truck that I.
Not a little bit.
I'm a small person, and it just doesn't work driving that massiveness. So anyway, we started looking for vehicles. We had a specific budget, and through a very generous donation, we had money to be able to seek to purchase a vehicle with a specific budget. So we set out with a specific budget to try to find something. And I don't know if you guys done the car search thing before, but it can be lengthy, test driving cars and going to different places weekend after weekend. And everything we kept finding was over 100,000 miles or was either falling apart or didn't fit all of the family members, because now we have a puppy as well. And
we literally looked at a car that was the dashboard had fallen apart because it fit our budget. We were like, well, I mean, it doesn't have a place to put. It was ridiculous. It was completely out of hand.
So we after probably about the third weekend, I got a little bit discouraged, and I told Jim, I said, I really don't think that finding a vehicle right now is going to work. I've been without one for 5 years. I can be without one longer. It'll be fine. And I think it was the next day or the day after, Jim said, I think I might have found something. And at this point, I kind of was like, what's the catch? Because we had found a couple of things that we thought might work, and then they ended up being lemons of vehicles or had terrible reliability. And so I thought, what was the catch? And he said, I want to go look at it tomorrow. And I really didn't have time to go look at it the next day, but I went anyway because I had a lot of work things to do. And turns out it is a Hyundai Santa Fe, and it was parked at, I really believe that the Lord parked it at a Lexus dealership because it wouldn't sell there. The dealer or the salesman told us that they couldn't get the car to sell. As you can imagine, if you went to a Lexus dealership, you probably wouldn't walk away with a Hyundai Santa Fe. I mean, maybe you would, but
we did.
They couldn't get it to sell. It was sitting on their lot, and they couldn't get it to sell, so they marked it down drastically just to get it off their lot. And we happened to find it right after they dropped the price so much. And so we showed up at this Lexus dealership, which we'd never been to before, and to the boys' surprise, they had like a full, I don't know, lunch.
Free Cokes.
Apparently, they at those places they have like free drinks and free all kinds of things. So the boys were super excited to be there, but we the car ended up being only 40,000 miles and 6 years old. And so we were so thankful and so blessed that God has answered the prayers, provided us with a vehicle within the budget, and so now we have a second vehicle. So we want to thank you for being partners in prayer with us for that. And so now we can go places when Jim is not around. So that's I mean, I still am out of sync with that, but yes.
Yeah. So that's been a huge blessing. So we also have, because we're here for a period of time, we have also started to look for baseball opportunities for the boys. We played last season, and they loved it. I didn't know. I thought they would enjoy it. but they just became super passionate about it. And so we started trying to find leagues around here, found a couple of opportunities, still trying to work out a few kinks in that, where we're going to play and what we're going to do with them. But they're super excited. Super excited. Baseball is all they talk about.
Baseball is like in their genes. We have not plugged this into them, but it is in their genes. And so we could use your prayers in being able to provide them with that opportunity to be able to play something that they enjoy so much.
Yeah.
All three of them really, but Noah especially. And there's some kinks, like Jim said, with where we are and whether or not we have a permanent residence and all these kinds of things with Little League versus Pony League and all those kinds of things. And so we're just asking God for his provision in that, and wherever he wants them to play, that they would have an opportunity to do that. So thank you.
Yeah. And so because we've been here also, we started to look for a place where we could, a church that we could become a part of, a place, a community that we could become a part of, to worship. And Amy and I have really kind of been drawn lately to the idea of kind of getting back to Hebrew roots and looking at where we came from as far as Christianity goes, but then also Hebrew and what are the original meanings of things. And we found Amy, Research Queen, found a Messianic community in Seguin that we were able to go and visit and be a part of. And they actually, the first time we went, we didn't know what time service was. We thought it was at 4:00. Turns out it was not. They do Hebrew class at 4:30.
They have a Hebrew word studies class.
And so we went, and we were there early because we were out doing some shopping. And so we're sitting there trying to figure out what we're doing. And we started learning Hebrew and learning about the Hebrew in the Bible. They gave us this book. This book is fantastic. It's, if you have any desire to learn about the original Hebrew and some of the meaning behind it, you may be familiar with the idea that in the Hebrew alphabet, you have the different letters. The letter for A, B, C, and D also represent numbers. So A is 1, B is 2. So if you're going to write the number 34, you would write D-E, basically. And so that is the way they write their numbers also. But then, did you also know that each letter has an associated meaning with it? So the letter A is a number 1, but it also means strong or leader or somebody like an ox is kind of the word picture that it represents. And so when you see the word and the way different words are written, they have the representation of what the word is, but then also there are subtle meanings that are hinted at through the way that it's lettered. And just a quick example of that is in the beginning, in Genesis 1:1, it says the word for create is written with 3 letters, and that word bara has the letters that start the names of God, that start the name of Son. Bet is Son, Jesus, and then the name Ruach, which is Holy Spirit. Those are the 3 letters that are used to create, to draw the word create. And so you can see that in creation, there were 3 people represented in that, which is the Godhead. Isn't that amazing to learn that? I was blown away. And so the more we've read and learned about that, it's been really a blessing to us. And just the community in general has been a blessing to go and be a part of that.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with the Messianic community, it's a community of sometimes people of Jewish roots, either culturally or familially, and they have come to recognize Jesus as the Messiah. And so, but they have continued keeping with some of the Hebrew roots and celebrations and things like that. And it has been really fantastic. If you watched our last video update, we shared an incredible story about living with an Orthodox Jewish family for almost a week, and the things that we took away from that. And so I know that God doesn't use he uses all those experiences. So this community is not not very close to here, but it's been worth the effort to connect with some of those believers, and even now our boys have had opportunities to start even playing music. You'll see, if you're receiving this on our email newsletter, you'll see the photos of them playing the cajon and piano at one of the services that they do. So, and actually you'll see photos too from some of the other things that they do, the children's blessing and things like that. So, so that has been a really neat thing to be a part of, especially since right now we haven't really felt really God calling us to do a specific fellowship leading on our own. And so this has really been something that God's impressed upon us to be a part of right now. So yeah, it's been really cool.
Yeah. So
shifting a few gears here.
Actually,
can I share about this more, like, because
please do.
So actually this is literally the next day after we finished the 40-day prayer challenge. Jim came back from one of his sessions with DBAT doing the baseball lessons, and he said, I broke a tooth today. And those of you who know our 3 Life Essentials side, you know that we've done a lot of stuff. Well, and even through our Explore the Unseen, you know, we've worked a lot on airway situations, which is some of our travels. And so one of Jim's airway challenges is because of the sleep apnea, he has a tendency to grind his teeth. And he was doing that less after he had his first round of laser treatments a few years ago. But you are supposed to kind of get those touched up, so to speak, every year. And for budget reasons, he did not get that touched up. And so because of that, he continued to grind his teeth. And then now we have a broken tooth, and like broken, like not just like, oh, I chipped a tooth. The kind of broken tooth that now he had to have it extracted, which we were praying that it was salvageable enough for him to maybe get a crown, but it was not. So they had to extract the tooth. And so now we're looking at some pretty big expenses with regard to that. Fortunately, the new holistic dentist that we have is trained in doing these laser treatments as well. If you're interested in either one of those, the two that are out there, one's called Snore Lace and one's called Night Lace. And depending on your particular situation, they may be beneficial for you. And so between that and the new Buteco restorative breathing certification that I have, Jim has now become one of my patients. And so we've been working on really restoring and helping him have better sleep breathing, better functional breathing patterns with sleep. And so yes, so if you could be in prayer about provision with continued dental and airway things that we're working through, and very thankful that God is providing the tools.
Yeah, and I feel really impressed to share also, if you've been following along so far in the video, thank you for joining and staying with us. If you're this far along, just want to say thank you, and as a reward to you, I would like Amy to show you what's going on in her mouth, because you're probably gonna, is her tongue blue?
You've probably been wondering, like, did I catch a glimpse of blue there?
The color of this video is really weird.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, so her tongue is blue.
It's my methylene blue.
Yeah.
Many strange health things. Speaking of health stuff, we want to make sure you guys know about an upcoming health summit that's coming up. It's in San Antonio area, but they are going to be making this available online in January. So that's why I'm making sure that all of you know about this, because it's a parent-led autism health summit. It's February 2nd and 3rd in San Antonio, Texas. And if you want to catch, what's today? Today today that we're recording this video, I'm not sure if this is when you're seeing it, but today, on December 21st, the organizer for this event, who's in California, she and Dr. Andrew Wakefield are going live on Highwire with Del Bigtree to share more about the event, and it's expected to sell out. So I want to make sure you know about it, because I know that you or someone you know or someone you love needs to know about this health summit. So they're going to be sharing, again, since it's parent-led and parent-driven. There's a lot of exciting new research that's going to be shared, a lot of new treatments and things. We are actually sponsors of one of the event, one of the sponsors, so we will be there. So if you want to come and see us, we'll hang out.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure you know about that. And last but not least, if you find yourself in this season where you're just feeling like you're in a funk, I want to share with you. I have a blog post that I think will be that you get a video, or if you want to read, but it's how to get yourself out of a funk this season. And so I'm sharing that with you in the email if you're watching it. I'll share it in the link below the YouTube video as well, if that you find that helpful. But I want that to be a gift to you, especially if you're just like, you know what, I'm not feeling it. I don't want to be in this space right now, and that's okay. And I want to give you something that may be inspiring and encouraging to you.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything else you want to share?
No, so thanks again for sticking with us.
Yes.
And bonus to those of you guys that have watched this entire thing. This is a long video, but we really appreciate you. It means a lot that we have a community that we're able to be a part of and to reach out to, and that are following along with all our adventures as we go and explore the unseen. So we encourage you to get out and explore and see the world that God's created around you, and hope that in this season and every season that you would grow in your grace and wisdom and understanding of God.
We love you.
Love you guys.
We want to hear from you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.